Yay! Hello, hello, full moon this week. Let's talk about full moon rituals. I'm going to make sure I am going live in all the places. Let's see. Is this going to work? Connect video source. Oh, holy cannoli. It's almost working. As you hop on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to go live in here. Let me see if I can refresh this so that I can go live and share. But I am excited as I'm trying to get this software to work for me. Yay! Let's see. I think it's working. Fantabulous. Sometimes it's like the old saying, when in doubt, reboot. We used to say, when in doubt, reboot. Because you got to make it rhyme in the IT world. Okay, so I think I am live in all the places. I hope you can find me because we have a fun week ahead with full moon in Sagittarius. I want to talk about full moon rituals and also just highlight the amazing, wonderful Jupiter energy we had this weekend in my Inside of the Moon Club. I brought everybody through a very sacred ritual and practice to harness the abundance and prosperity that's around us right now. So if you want to get an insider's look at that, then click the link around this video to check out Inside of the Moon. I'm going to scoot myself closer. Okay, here goes. This week ahead, just take a moment, take a deep breath, because this full moon is going to bring some fire in. And not only is it going to bring some fire in, but it's a moon that is going to help you find freedom because it's in Sagittarius and connect on a whole new level to the stories, the beliefs behind your emotions. So for example, maybe there was an experience. I think about this because I was asking for an example and just kind of thinking, what would be a good example? And did you ever do like a sleepaway camp in grade school? We had one that was part of like a school field trip. You went away for a couple days. It was all the rage. It was sixth grade. And it was the most harrowing experience. It was not fun. The girls in my cabin decided, because it was a wonderful, warm October day, they'd open the little cabin windows and then they couldn't shut them. And so the cold air was rushing in as I tried to sleep all night long, right underneath it in my strawberry shortcake sleeping bag, of course. And so I have these memories attached and these emotions and these feelings and these stories I told myself about. Oh my gosh, what a disaster that was, and how much it was not fun. It was over my birthday and I was just ready to go home. Anyway, I had the opportunity to chaperone my daughter's little sleepaway camp for same thing, end of elementary school years. And I remember the stories playing over and over and over in my head, bringing up all of those emotions of my own experience when I was her age. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I can relive this. I don't know if I can do this. But I did. And it was wonderful. But it took a moment to re-examine the beliefs and the stories behind the emotion, behind what I had been telling myself about that experience. Because opportunities come up in life. And if old experiences flavor you so much that they inhibit you from taking these new opportunities, you can really miss out. So I hope that makes sense as you pop on. Let me see you. Hi, Cindy. Great that you made it live. Yay. Okay. So I like to know that some of you are able to join me live before I pull a card. So pulling a card for the energy of this week, we'll get more into that full moon and the ritual in order to harness the energy. But for now, place your hand on your heart, tune into your energy. I'm going to pull a card and you'll find that parts of it will resonate with you. Take what resonates. If something doesn't, you can leave it behind. But I'm going to ask, what is the most important thing that you're aware of as you go into the energy of this week? And so we're going to just shuffle the cards. And as I shuffle the cards, I just kind of look to see who's popping up. Four of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles, she's really keeping her cards close to her vest. She's holding her little money purse close to her vest, and she is really taking her moment to be cautious about what she chooses to invest in. So this can go two ways. It can either mean and show up in such a way that you've been holding back from spending money on yourself or investing in yourself. There's a beautiful city behind her, and she's like, nope, 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 I'm not going to go. I'm not going to spend any money. I'm going to save it all. And then there's that moment where it's like, you know what? There's just something so special that maybe you've been denying yourself that could help make life easier or just help bring more beauty into your world. That it's saying, don't be so penny pinching with yourself. Take a moment that if it is in balance and in harmony, then indulge a little. Spend some like pin money on yourself, so to speak. Sometimes we can get into these roles where we're always holding so much that we deny ourselves some of the little small joyful pleasures in life. Part of the reason that I really feel more leaning towards that, if you've been really saving for a rainy day, kind of, how do I want to say, not spending, take a moment, because with all this Jupiter energy, all this expansion, we're in our final moments of Taurus. The sun goes into Gemini tomorrow. There's an opportunity to really beautify your world. Taurus is ruled by Venus. The moon is in Libra today, ruled by Venus. And you might find that even if it's something simple like investing in the coffee that you really like, or, splurging a little bit on, a new outfit, or doing something that really makes you feel more yourself. It's kind of like when people get the new haircut or the new outfit, when they do makeovers. Do you ever watch the makeover shows? There's this feeling of stepping into your power. And what I really feel I'm compelled to share with you is that there's this opportunity for you to make, it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to break the bank. It could be something like going out and getting a new lipstick color, a new nail polish color, or it could be something like buying flowers for your home. What you'll find is that little boost brings a lot to your confidence. And it's also just something very sweet that you're doing for yourself. Sometimes we can be very strict with ourselves and always save dessert, always save dessert. One of the things that I found myself doing a lot, because I always try to save dessert till the end, was, I remember being in elementary school, interesting talking about these throwbacks, and I had these special little pencils that were so precious to me that my mom had, given to me for a birthday gift, and I loved them so much, I was saving them for a special occasion, and I kept saving them and saving them and saving them, and I think, I still have a few of them. Like, I never used them. I kept saving them for the special occasion. And what this card is saying is, all right, you've been saving for a special occasion. Allow yourself to enjoy a little bit. Sagittarius with the full moon on Thursday is about freedom. It's about fun. It's about playfulness and adventure. And she is like, I'm not having any fun. I'm not having any playfulness. I'm going to just stay right here. And sometimes, there are moments to do that. And then there are other times where it's like, you know what, live a little, enjoy yourself. And then we can go back to that very structured energy. At the end of the week, the moon goes back into Capricorn. So you'll feel that like, all right, back to business. No more running around and having fun. We got to get back to what needs to be done. So good old parental authority figure of Capricorn energy. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this week ahead, which is very exciting. Riza, so good to have you. Good morning. Good morning. So the week ahead, first thing that I love to do is get an overarching feel of the moon phase. Why? Because it gives you a high level look at how is the general energy of the week going to go? How can I tap into that? Because some weeks you might find you just don't have a lot of energy and it's hard to be extroverted and out there in the world. And then other weeks you find you have an excess of energy or you feel restless, like something needs to be accomplished or wrapped up. So the moon phases can help you understand this a little bit better and not beat yourself up when you find that you just can't muster up what's needed in order to get the to-do list done. So this week, the moon is growing. It's growing or waxing towards that full moon on Thursday. And when you have a waxing moon, this is a good time for digging deep. It's a good time for making any final little adjustments to your plans, putting everything you've got into making a dream come true, because the full moon is the culmination. It is the joyful celebration of reaching a milestone or maybe even a completion of a dream or a project. It's a fullness, and it's a time for reflection, for looking back at the previous growth cycle and saying, well, what worked for me? What didn't work? What might I want to change in the future? What is ready to be let go of and released? This one, because it's a full moon in Sagittarius, it's going to be a lot around beliefs, a lot of deep emotional healing. And the moon leading up to that is going to help us do that deep healing work on our heart and on our feelings. But this full moon is a time for fun. It's a time for playfulness, for freedom, for spontaneity, and for shedding the old stories attached to the old feelings that have kept you trapped, essentially, kind of like holding that coin purse and not enjoying yourself and finding pleasure in this lifetime. And by that, I mean, enjoying the food and the colors and the music and the camaraderie, good friends. Why do I say all of that? Well, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is definitely a player this week. Okay, so that's a general feeling of this week. We're building up to something. The full moon is going to be a time of reflection and release. You might find you have a little bit more energy or restless energy, but let's talk about that. Let's break down everything on a day-to-day basis. And how do I love to do this? Well, many of you guys know my Inside of the Moon journal. And so in the Inside of the Moon Club, which doors are now open, shameless plug, it's irenamiller.co/club if you want to see all the details for that. But the journal is just a way to track the data, because I can give you general overarching insights on how the energy will affect you. But when you start to take note of it and collect the data, you can see how it really is personally affecting you on a day-to-day basis. And in the club, we go through that on another layer as well. Okay, so with that being said, what to expect this week? This week, there feels like there's a lot of wonderful quotes coming up. If I had to give a quote to this week, there's two that I would give. One is, there's freedom in the knowing. Many times, right? So with the full moon in Sagittarius coming up, and especially with the moon in Scorpio, right before we go in, there's going to be revelation. Things that might have been hidden or in the shadows, or things we haven't been paying attention to, will be brought to our awareness. And we'll have a choice to either see it or say, la, 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 I don't want to know. But there's freedom in the knowing. When you have the data, when you can look at things in front of you, then you can come up with a plan. Then you can come up with action steps so that you don't feel so at the whim of fate, like everything is out of your control, which is why I love collecting the data. So this week, Sagittarius is truth-telling. It's also knowing. So there's freedom in the knowing. I'm going to encourage everybody to be very grounded this week. So as new information and insights come your way, you can receive them in a very objective and grounded way. So it doesn't feel like it throws you for a loop, because it's an emotional healing week as well. The other thing that's very interesting is that I love the phrase, maybe you've heard it, energy flows where attention goes. So even like when you're driving a car, if you turn your head to look at something, the car tends to want to go in the same direction you're looking, or riding a bicycle. Where we're placing our attention, that's what's going to grow. So what are we looking at? What are we focusing on? Is it an old emotion? What's the story behind that emotion, or the belief attached to it? Because it could be very well keeping you trapped in an old cycle. This full moon is about healing that. Okay, so what are you focusing on? Because what you're focusing on is gonna grow. So that's kind of the overarching themes of the week as I tune into it. Something else that's very interesting today. This is a little bit of a side note. I don't usually go into the more advanced sides of the moon adventures, but today I'm feeling very called to, because there's something called moon void of course. Have you guys ever heard void of course? Some of you may have. You may not have. But it basically means that it's a time when the moon isn't talking with any other planets in the heavens above. And when that's the case, when it's not aspecting any other planets, it is in a place where it's just kind of in limbo. It's just hanging out. It's a quiet time. It's kind of like if you had a motorboat, all of a sudden you turn off the engine and you're just kind of floating. You're floating along until you meet the next current, the next gust of wind, the next wave, but you're just floating along. Now, why is this important? Well, when the moon is void of course, you might find that your efforts aren't as forward moving as they would be otherwise. Here's what I mean by that. The general term for moon void of course is nothing's going to come of it. You know, that can be good and bad, but it's basically saying don't start anything brand new during a moon void of course, or don't necessarily jump on opportunities when the moon is void of course. And this is going to be the moon void of course until about 6:30 p.m. Eastern time today. So just allow yourself some kind of floating time today. You're taking everything in. You don't have to take any specific actions. You're just aware. You're just kind of simply being. It's nice. And then as we move into the energy later today, that's when things will start to pick up and we'll start to be able to go deeper. Okay. And that's just really, really been coming up. So another quick example of that, I had a girlfriend who also practices astrology, and they were getting ready for, I think it was Thanksgiving, and her husband was cooking and she was doing something else in the house. And as he was cooking, the dish just totally went sideways and it didn't work out. And he was so frustrated. And she looked up the moon void of course and she realized, oh my gosh, the moon was void of course. So nothing came of the meal or that particular dish. So it's like, okay, just wait a couple more minutes and then you can pick everything back up again. But these are things that we'll be going deeper into in the Inside of the Moon Club, if that's something that floats your boat. Okay, let's break down each day. So Monday today, moon is in Libra as we start the day off. So it's a day about balance. It's a day about harmony. When I look at the theme or the intention for me for this week, or really the top three, what I've written down is focus, feel, and freedom. So today with that moon void, of course, I'm really just kind of feeling into the day, feeling about what's out of balance, where I might be able to reorganize things. I'm just observing. I'm taking it all in. So moon in Libra is really striving for that balance and that harmony. So I'm going to ask, what's the most important thing that you need to know about Monday's energy? Page of Cups. Now, Page of Cups, sometimes this can be a little overly optimistic. This can be pie in the sky dreaming, kind of like, oh, I'll believe it when pigs can fly. It's like, oh, pigs, of course they can fly. Pages bring news, and this is news of joy, cups, news of love. And what I'm going to invite you to do with today is, again, just think of yourself kind of like floating in a pool. You're just aware, you're daydreaming a little bit. Your feet may not be fully grounded, but ground. And you're just kind of taking in a little bit of inspiration in the sense of what's coming to you intuitively. If you can be around water, fantastic. What I feel that this is going to do is that with the moon void, of course, you can experience some of these deeper emotions. We're kind of, what the moon is doing is it's creating a safe space for you to start tuning into these emotions that, and the stories behind them that might have been holding you back. Okay. All right. Tuesday, the moon is in Scorpio. Now, Scorpio, this is where things are going to go a little bit deeper. Scorpio can walk in the areas that most people feel like are a little bit too heavy and a little bit too intense. Scorpios love deep conversation. They have trouble with just chit chat, how do they call it? just a like everyday kind of conversation. They want to have a meaningful engagement in whatever they're doing. They just don't want to necessarily talk about the weather or the sports team or, the latest celeb information. They want to go deep. They're a little bit, they're willing to look kind of underneath the bed and in the dark places and in the shadows, because they can help with incredible transformation and transmutation. So what the Scorpio moon is going to enable you to do is say, all right, I have the courage and the strength right now and the fortitude to look a little bit deeper at the things that might have been hiding in the dark that usually I'm too busy to deal with, or I distract myself. It's giving you the opportunity to look more deeply. So I would say create a safe space for yourself. You're setting up boundaries so that you have the time to allow these old emotions to start to bubble to the surface. So some truths can be revealed. You might have a moment where you just kind of connect the dots too, where you realize, wow, that really wasn't a healthy behavior for me, or person or activity. And I'm going to pull a card. How can you make the most of Tuesday's Scorpio moon energy? Oh, got a couple that are wanting to pop up. Okay. Knight of Pentacles, and he's upside down. So Knight of Pentacles is cautious. It's a cautious energy. He's not rushing into anything. He's taking his time. He's barefoot. He's not on his horse like some of the other knights who are just running right into adventure. But he's looking around. His feet are connected to the ground. He's grounded, good old Pentacles energy, but it's upside down. Now, traditionally, the knight is planting all of these seeds like Johnny Appleseed for future growth. He's laying the foundation and the groundwork so that, prosperity and good fortune can grow in the future. He's thinking long term. But what's happening is almost like an uprooting. This energy, the way it comes through to me is it's saying, okay, what were the seeds that were planted that have taken root within you that are not so great? Maybe it was a bad seed pack. And you're being afforded the opportunity to kind of weed out those old seeds that were planted that just haven't worked for you. You're taking your time, you're being grounded and cautious. And again, because the moon's still in Scorpio, you're in this safe little energy. Scorpio knows how to create, and part of what it's learning to do is create healthy boundaries. So I think of it as like a circle. You're just in your little safe space, your protective bubble to do this work, but to kind of weed out and to pull out, to uproot those old seeds of, and I pause for a moment because it is beliefs, but because this is a Pentacles energy, the way that it really shows up is, so there's something called thought forms. Have you guys ever heard of thought forms? So in the energy world, we talk about thought forms. When enough people or enough energy goes behind a thought, so much energy goes into this thought. There's a feeling and a belief attached to it, and this thought becomes very powerful. So powerful, in fact, that it can become real. This could simply be, think of any Shakespeare play where, there's a lot of mischievousness going on. My brother's a Shakespearean actor, and so it's fun to see these plays come to life through him. But what can happen is a little seed that's planted, right? Somebody's like, oh, they don't like you, or, oh, they're totally in love with you. Oh, and the seed takes root, and then you start to believe it. And then you see certain actions that you misinterpret. And then all of a sudden, chaos and comedy ensues, but it becomes this real thing. There's a movie that came out that's a little play on Much Ado About Nothing. It's called Anyone But You. Have you guys seen that movie? That's a really fun one. It's really cute. I haven't laughed out loud in a long time, and I watched it on a plane. It was great. But these things, they become a reality. When you have enough feeling and belief behind something, the thought really anchors like a strong seed rooted. And then it starts to manifest physically. Maybe it's even just physical tension in the shoulders. Maybe it's an upset belly. But now this Scorpio energy is saying, okay, we're getting ready to uproot those old beliefs and thoughts so that the physical manifestation can be released. Let's say it that way. So Heather, you said, hi, Irena, Scorpio here. Hey, I love the Scorpio. I have a Scorpio rising and a Scorpio daughter, had a Scorpio grandmother. I feel like I know the Scorpio energy. Yeah, it can definitely be intense. Scorpios, it's a fixed water, so they feel everything. It's very, very deep. And that's part of the reason Scorpios need to learn how to put up healthy boundaries, not walls. That can happen often. They put up walls because, you know, when we don't have certain sacred practices or skills or tools, we don't know. We're just like, we just need to survive. We just need to protect ourselves. And you said, OMG, that's the third time you've heard the phrase thought forms in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Oh, I get chills. Yeah. Thought forms. It's very, very interesting. Again, conversation for deeper time, but my Mastering Intuition students, we go deep into that. All right. So that's Tuesday. See, Scorpios, there's never any light chit chat with a Scorpio. It's always going to be pretty deep. Wednesday. So Wednesday, moon still in Scorpio. So how can you take advantage of that energy? We're growing. The moon is getting moving towards that fullness. I would encourage you, because Scorpio is water-based, if you can be around water, maybe you take a bath, maybe you just have a little fountain in your home, maybe you have a river or a lake or an ocean nearby that you can be near. But just allow yourself to connect with the element of water, even if it's just while you're washing your hands, to be very mindful and use the water as a way to help you bring a soothing quality to go deeper into the emotion. Do you find sometimes it's easier to cry in the shower? You know, it's a place where you feel like the emotions can be released, not to get heavy and macabre, but good old, we're in Scorpio energy right now as I talk about it. But that water in the shower, and just to have healing. There's a lot of healing available to you with the moon in Scorpio on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I want to invite you to take advantage of that. So let's go ahead and just tune in. How can you make the most of Wednesday's Scorpio moon as we prep for the full moon? Oh, I think the crying in the shower. So, I know it's a scary looking card, but you know, the rawness of the emotions, Scorpios, part of what they do is, like the Scorpio who buries underneath the sand, Scorpios can take a lot. They take a lot of hurt, right? And feelings. And somebody will say something and they'll experience something and they just bury it deeper and deeper and deeper into their heart until it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back, or the toilet seat being left up, or the tube of toothpaste being squeezed wrong that leads to like divorces. And you're like, what? A toothpaste tube being squeezed incorrectly led to the divorce? What? And it's like, no, with the Scorpio, when a Scorpio experiences all these slights and pains and hurts, they bury it deep into their heart. And then just one thing, it's like the glass of water, it gets just filled all the way to the tippity top. And there's just that one tipping point. And then the Scorpio will blow. And there's annihilation and destruction. There's burning of all the bridges. Scorpio rage is intense because they have accumulated so much. They're very loving, loyal people when they let you in. But goodness gracious, if you are disloyal or betray a Scorpio, it's very detrimental to both of you, really. But the reason that I bring that up is it's kind of represented by this kind of pain. And what I found with the Scorpio energy is, it's funny, many a moon ago, I'd experienced a very intense heartache, as we all do in life. And I remember talking with a friend and I said, I'm just trying to forget and forgive. And she said to me, Irena, don't you mean forgive and forget? And I thought, oh, interesting that I flipped those. And I think what I was doing was a little bit more of a Scorpio nature, where it's like, okay, you just kind of allow it to go down. You're trying to let it go down, and just kind of bury it so quickly that you don't even allow yourself that opportunity to practice forgiveness. That's why I love working with the moon, because that third quarter moon, or the last quarter moon, you can do beautiful forgiveness practices. That helps you prepare for the next new moon, the next growing cycle, so that you're not starting a growth cycle with past hurts and anxieties and worries. All right, so that's a lot going on. But I would encourage you Wednesday, maybe crying in the shower, just recognizing the heartaches that you've had. Sometimes sharing your story with someone, it can be very healing to have your story witnessed and know that this too shall pass and that there is light on the other side. It's that full moon energy in Sagittarius. A lot of deep healing work, deep emotional healing work at the beginning of this week. All right, Thursday. So Thursday, the moon starts to move into Sagittarius. So we have our full moon. Sagittarian energy is playful. It is fun. It is a friend that shows up at your house in the convertible and says, grab your passport, just pack a light bag. I've got tickets to Timbuktu and the flight leaves in an hour. We got to go now. You're like, okay, here goes. Sagittarian friends are fun. Talk about dyslexic today. They're adventurous. They will tell you the truth. They'll be like the ones you have the spinach in the teeth. You know, you have toilet paper stuck to the bottom of your shoe. Sometimes the truth can come out and just, they don't sugarcoat anything. So it's great to have a Sagittarian friend because you know that they have your back and they're not going to let you embarrass yourself. And they're a lot of fun, adventurous. So the thing about this particular full moon and where it's showing up is it's showing up at 2 degrees Scorpio. So this is an opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into feelings and emotions. That's why I was saying the emotions, even the beliefs that or the stories you told yourself attached to the emotions. What I would encourage you to do for this full moon, like if you were to do a full moon ritual, always ground, call on your angels, connect to God. And then as you do that, because it's an energy of fire, Sagittarius is fire, but it shows up at a degree that really represents water. And water and fire are complements or opposites, depending on how you want to look at it. I really see that you can find incredible healing for the emotions with a ritual that would incorporate both water and fire. Some people love to take full moon baths. If you can do that with a little bit of Epsom salts, I think that would be very, very healing. If you can't do that, again, you could just simply wash your hands. And the idea, as my puppies come in, the idea is that you're just washing away any of the heaviness or the sadness or the heartache attached to the old stories. And you're also letting those old stories and beliefs be washed away. And then as you've washed your hands, I would create a little fire ceremony. Maybe you just light a candle and you call in spirit and you call in the energy. And because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter's really going big this week, lots of good Jupiter stuff. I would invite you to remember what you focus on grows. So Jupiter's growth is expansion. Some people see it as incredible good luck, prosperity, abundance, and it definitely can be. And also remember that you can have growth of a really, really high vibrational good thing and growth of a lower vibrational not so good thing. So if you're focusing on the old beliefs, the negative Nellies, the frustrations where things have gone wrong in the past, then that's what's going to grow. Jupiter's going to be like, okay, fantastic. We'll grow that. Amazing. So take the time. What are you focusing on? So whether you just light a candle or maybe you do a little burning bowl ceremony, something along those lines can really make a big shift in how you move forward, because the ritual is very soothing for the subconscious, the part of us that is very much on automatic mode. And when we experience ritual, it's a very healing, soothing balm to the soul, and it clears and it releases at a much deeper level. So that's one thing. And my Inside of the Moon Clubbers, we're going to go deeper with that. And we have a big planning session for June as well. So, all right, Friday. How to make, and did I pull a card? I don't think I pulled a card for the full moon. Holy cannoli. Thanks for the tap on the shoulder, angels. So we're going to just tune in and ask, what is the most important thing that you need to know about the full moon energy? I love her. Knight of Wands. This is one of the most fantastic representations of Sagittarian energy. Talk about freedom. There's the black stallion. She's there in the background. She's running wild and free. It's let your heart down. There's the fire ceremony. Bang on the drum. Play that song. What is it? I don't want to work. I just want to play on my drums all day. If you have a drum, you got a drum, play them. It's like, what do they say? Anyway, I won't say that just in case. But if you got the drums, play them. Have fun. Maybe you do something. I always think of like Burning Man Festival or being in an outdoor music festival with this too. Have fun. Let your hair down. Enjoy yourself. How will you be able to enjoy yourself? Because you've already done the heavy work at the beginning of the week on Tuesday and Wednesday. If Tuesday and Wednesday feel really heavy and just emotional, and you're like, oh, you're going through all of that so you can get to the other side and experience the fun. It won't be weighing you down anymore. Okay. We have to do the work, and that can sometimes be intense, but it's well worth it. All right. Oh, and Heather, you said my words are helping you today. I'm so glad. Much love to you, Heather. I'm so glad you can be here live. All right. Friday. So Friday, moon is still, well, let me see, double check. No, Friday. Yeah. Moon's still in Sagittarius. Okay. And as we tune into that Sagittarian energy on Friday, again, great time to go out and plan an adventure. Is it Memorial Day weekend in the States? I think it is. Holy cannoli. These things always sneak up on me. That's why I'm looking forward to the Moon Club planning session. Friday, anyway, Friday, moon in Sagittarius, I would encourage you. Now, here's the thing about the moon phase. It's starting to wane. We just had the full moon. So now it's about kind of the releasing and the letting go. So as the moon's starting to shrink or to wane in light, you're being encouraged to reduce. And with Sagittarius, especially with that Four of Pentacles card popping up at the very beginning, schedule some fun in for yourself this Friday. And if I were to ask, how can you make the most of it? Go to the beach. No. This is like, if we want to take it literally, right? Or go to the lake. This gal has her surfboard. She's basically like, all right, I'm ready for vacation. I'm ready for a little bit of a break. I've already made up my mind and my decision about how I'm going to rest, where I'm going to go. I'm just waiting for my next wave of opportunity. So if somebody offers you an adventure this weekend, tune in, ground, discern, but I would encourage you, pay attention to that opportunity, most definitely, especially if it's like a little getaway. That would be fun. Ooh, I'm excited to see what comes. Because I don't think I have any specific, well, I've always got adventures in the back of my mind, but I probably should look at a calendar. Okay. The family calendar, that is. Saturday. So Saturday, moon is still in Sagittarius. And I'm going to just ask, how can you make the most of Saturday's energy? Ooh, Page of Cups comes back up again. And here's the water coming up. There's been a great theme of, well, I know the Pentacles popped up a little bit as well, but here's that water. You're going to find that the Page of Cups really shows up differently than it does for Monday's energy. You might find now a more lightness of being. You might find love coming into your world. So I would invite you, be open to that good news coming your way. Love, joyfulness, and just allow that time for your emotions to be very light. Because I think you're going to feel that lightness of being by Saturday, especially if you do the heavier work on Tuesday and Wednesday. And the heavier work, what does that look like? Well, that just means if you're feeling an emotion, witness it. And again, that's why I love the journal. I just write down what's my current mood. So like when I woke up today, I know I felt a little disoriented. I felt out of balance. Part of that is because I'm still recovering from a work trip that I took a few weeks ago. And when we're gone for a little bit of time, we have to catch up on everything. Mail piles up, housework piles up, kids stuff, work stuff, and just trying to get back into the rhythm. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer because I was gone for quite some time. So I'm still feeling a little disoriented and out of balance. So you just take note of your mood. What's going on? So with that being said, did I pull? I pulled the card for Saturday. Let's move on. Sunday. I'm distracting myself down the rabbit hole here. Sunday moon moves into Capricorn. Okay, now this is when we get down to business. Sunday's Capricorn energy. There's no crying in baseball. Capricorns are very focused. They're very driven. They've got great ambition. They are ready to play. They're in it to win it. And you're going to find that all of the deep healing work that you did earlier this week is going to serve you well, because you'll have a clear head and a clear mind to do the Capricorn work come Sunday. And I love it when we have a Capricorn moon on a Sunday, because it's great for planning the week ahead. I don't know how many of you do this, but on Sundays, it's nice. I try to do it when I can, but I'll take some time on Sunday to kind of plan out the week ahead on a deeper level, have conversations with the family. Where do we need to go? What are we doing? What's happening? And that can make a big difference. Okay, so card for Sunday. How can we make the most of Sunday's Capricorn moon? Fire Gal still comes and pops up. I'm hitting keys here. Make sure I don't lose you guys. All right. So again, bring that playfulness in. You don't have to take things so seriously. It's reminding us, even though moon's in Capricorn, keep that freedom of playfulness and adventure with you so that you don't overschedule yourself. That you, because Capricorns can be, they're very great about working. They work, and they don't always make time for play. Although I think sometimes it could be like work hard, play hard. So it's saying just make sure that as much work time as you schedule in, you also schedule in play time. All right, so that's Sunday's energy. Okay, with that being said, quick little tips as far as crystal for the week and just day-to-day rituals that I'm using. So I always kind of put the little crystal that I'm working with here. I'm working with jade for this month. Every month has a crystal. Jade is about connecting to that inner light of prosperity and abundance as we're wrapping up the Taurus energy. And happy birthday to my Gemini friends. If you're a Gemini, drop a little Gemini emoji in the comments so we can wish you a happy birthday. But happy birthday to all the Gemini friends. The ritual that I'm going to use, the ritual comes from the book itself. And, you know, the inside of the moon journal, that is. With this journal, it's dateless. You can stop and start anywhere you want. And I have a lot of people who hop around in it. Hello, Alicia from Texas. Great to have you. So here, every month has a list of sacred rituals and practices. It has a meditation. It has a mudra, a mantra. I show you how to work with your crystal if you want to incorporate that into the sacred geometric shape, which is the tree of life right now, because that is about manifesting. And long story short, the ritual that I'm going to use is a yoga hand gesture where you bring the ring finger and pinky finger into the palm of your hand. And then your second and third finger, you just bring to the tip of the thumb. And you just rest the backs of the hands on your legs. And what I find myself doing is just going into this position throughout the day. And it helps me focus in and remind myself of the opportunities that are always around me. The opportunities for growth, for good luck, the opportunity to make a difference in this world. And it's called Kubera Mudra. So for me, that's just going to be the ritual that I do. Super simple. We don't have to take tons of time to do this work. And then how am I going to feed my spirit or nourish my spirit, which is a big part. And every week I have that little area where I say, how are you going to nourish or feed your spirit? For me, it's actually going to be organizing, because that freedom is in the knowing. I feel like there's still so much that's scattered around my house from my work trip that there's a lot of unknowns. So it creates anxiety. So freedom comes in the knowing, and Sagittarian energy is about freedom. All right. So this was a very long weekly energy weather report. Let me know if you're enjoying the long form or if you prefer shorter information. I try to dice it up with little chapters and then also hopefully slice it up so we could do just each day of the week. I want to make this accessible to you and helpful. And if you have any questions or things that you want to learn more about, then definitely drop it in the comments so I can see and I can come back and share that with you. And if this has been helpful, please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get the latest and greatest information when it drops. We have a lot of astrological events coming up, like Jupiter moving into Gemini, it's an exciting time. Lots of opportunity for growth, expansion, and stepping into the life you were born to live. All right, have a fantastic day. Share this with a friend too if it's been helpful, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Bye, guys. Oh, hey, Shannon, I see you. You're welcome. And Julie. Holy cannoli. I missed your messages. It was on a different screen. Mwah. Lots of love, guys.